Yeah, first of all, thank you guys for the opportunity to speak. It is my mission to spread this message of meta spirituality. So I'm super happy for each opportunity. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nina Verkoeyen, and I guess Jennifer, you probably tagged me somewhere or will tag me so that people can find my account. I am the founder of Meta Spirituality. It is a spiritual tradition which has a very kind of innovative approach to spirituality, which sometimes, creates some, tension, and people are like, oh my God, there's a lot of resistance at the beginning, but then everybody completely loves it and perceive it as the next step after this kind of common spirituality, mainstream spirituality, so to speak. So it is an approach to spirituality where we don't use any spiritual intermediaries. So popular spiritual practices, meditation, or visualization, which we almost equate to spirituality, correct? So I bet it's going to be a super interesting conversation. For those of you who are curious, please stay with us.
So you had mentioned that your concept of spirituality or your program doesn't include any meditation, no visualization, and is there
yeah, like how is that possible, you want to say, right? How is that even possible? Yeah. Let me start with my personal story. So I was a very dedicated spiritual seeker since the age of 11. At 11, I created my own kind of method of meditation. I was very much into all this. And I was a seeker, as I said, for a couple of, for several decades. I tried every spiritual practice. I was teaching yoga and meditation. I was on the cover of Yoga Journal Russia twice. I was quite popular in the country where I'm from, which is Russia. I don't live there for the last 10 years. I live in the US, but I was there before. And I was teaching all those spiritual practices. I was using those spiritual intermediaries, as I call them now. But then
you call those intermediaries.
Yes, because they are a buffer between us and who we're trying to reach, our higher self that we perceive being kind of separate from us, like something we need to reach to. And we use the help of spiritual intermediaries like meditation, mantra, visualization, whatever we're trying to use. So we use them in order to connect with our true self and in order to maybe manifest whatever we want in this life. We're using the help of the intermediaries to create the life we want. What we don't realize that if in the beginning of our spiritual path, spiritual intermediaries are absolutely welcome, and this is actually their purpose, to kind of intrigue us, to kind of pull us toward something that is, I don't know, within us, to kind of drag us and our attention inwards. This is what the purpose of any meditation, visualization, and other spiritual practice is. But then, once we are not complete beginners on a spiritual path, our goal is to kind of get rid of this cane that we were using to help us learn how to walk on our spiritual path. So if we don't get rid of this cane, if we become attached, like many people are attached to spiritual practices, to meditation, visualization, they put like equal between being spiritual and participating in any spiritual practices, right? So, but when we don't get rid of those intermediaries, that cane, what happens is that it starts acting as a buffer between us and what we're trying to reach. So it becomes something that doesn't make us merge fully with our true self. It doesn't make us realize that in order to manifest something, we don't necessarily need to always use visualizations, affirmations, that the power to create this reality is totally within us, and we need to learn how to tap directly into our true self as the creator and learn how to create directly. So this is a tricky part, right? So on one hand, we need those practices in the beginning, but then we absolutely need to stop using them in order to, like with this metaphor of a cane, we need to get rid of a cane in order to learn how to walk on our own feet without any external support. If we don't do that, we will never become truly who we are. This conscious creator who creates with the help of his consciousness alone, with the knowledge of who we are, and that's it. Otherwise, we are relying and we're giving away our power, and we're relaying the responsibility onto those practices, tools, spiritual tools, affirmations, visualizations. We think they work, they help us manifest, but we need to learn how to manifest directly. We need to understand that it's not them that work, it's us. We work. Doesn't matter what we use, and ideally we don't use any.
Wow. And so you feel that meditation can almost create a degree of separation, almost
not in the beginning,
perpetuating the seeking versus being.
Yes, if we become unhealthily attached, which happens to majority of people, unfortunately, because they don't know there is this next step, because they don't know there is something beyond spiritual practices in order to be on a spiritual path, in order to progress on a spiritual path. So people just do more and more practices, not realizing that doesn't actually get them anywhere after some point. But in the beginning, they need it, because let me give you an example. For people who are not into anything spiritual, they're just living their automatic life. They're completely like, automatic, conditioned. And then suddenly somebody tells them, oh, I tried this meditation and it really helped me. It kind of relieved my stress level. It helped me do this or that. So this person becomes interested. So spiritual intermediaries, their purpose is to kind of grab our interest in anything spiritual so that we step onto that spiritual path. And they kind of get us there. They glue us to our spiritual path in the beginning, because they are entertaining, because we can like try this practice and that practice and visualize this and that. There's a lot of different practices and tools, and we start playing with all of them, and that keeps us and anchors us in our spiritual pursuit, on our spiritual path. Okay. Yeah, and that helps at the beginning because we need that. But then what happens that people don't know that there is something beyond that, and they get simply attached and they become addicted almost, and that's all they're doing. They're just practicing, and that doesn't go anywhere. And if we are, as spiritual seekers, for not complete beginners, if we are honest enough, that's what happened to me in 2015, because I was on the cover of Yoga Journal. I was teaching all those spiritual intermediaries. I was meditating hours a day. I was teaching yoga. I was doing that for like more than a decade. But I had to confess to myself at some point that, look, you know so much, you practice so much, that's all you do, that's your life. But let's be honest, your material reality, and by material I mean my relationship, real tangible relationships, my financial situation, my health, it's not actually any different than it was 10 years ago. And yes, spiritual intermediaries give me this illusion of progress, because, oh, I meditated today, I kind of put a check mark internally, oh, I did my spiritual job today, I'm good, I'm progressing. And that kind of keeps me on that level, and I'm not moving anywhere. But I have to face the truth that regardless of the amount of spiritual practice I do, I still struggle with not enough money. I still struggle in my relationships. I have conflicts. For sure, meditation helps me to calm myself down. For sure, yoga is amazing. I love it. But is there anything beyond that? What's my next step? And then I had to face the fact that I wasn't progressing. So I stopped doing any spiritual practice. I quit my yoga business. I completely retired. I left to some, God knows where, this little island in the Bahamas, like not posh at all, just some tiny island where my boyfriend at that time lived. And I just stopped doing anything. It's just this internal desire to know the truth, to find something that I always felt is missing, and no practice could give me that feeling of home, kind of in a long run, right? Like I would feel complete for a few minutes after a meditation. I would feel like, oh, I came home for a few hours after some great spiritual retreat. But ultimately nothing changed. So I decided to stop doing all of that, stop practicing. But this desire to know the truth, to come home, to complete this puzzle from which one piece was missing, or so it felt, it was still there. And one day, it was the 10th of March of 2016, I was in my home. I was alone. I was just wandering around the house. And then suddenly, I don't even know why, in which context, but this question popped up in my head. And the question was like, what is love? But just truly. And that question was so, like, I don't know how to call it, intense. It was so, I wanted to know the answer so truly, so badly, not for any kind of weird reasons. It's just, I really wanted to know the truth. And I think this question landed at a proper time, in a proper place. It just landed where it should have landed. And the answer came to me. But it came to me not as some words, it came to me as a state of being. And in that moment, instantaneously, I got transformed and I become awakened, and I realized the answer to that question, what is love? I realized it is me. I became love. And I realized that I am God, I am the creator, just like anybody else. And this is our true nature, our main state of being, our energy, we can describe with this one word, love. And then all this knowledge got revealed to me. I was sitting in my house for like a week, not leaving it, not even like almost eating, like I couldn't do anything. I was just writing down all those epiphanies that were just pouring down on me non-stop. It was it was the most intense experience of my life. It was even more intense than my labor. So it was so, because it lasted not for like a day or a few hours, you know, how it happens, like maybe if you have some plant medicine ceremony or something. I never participated in one. I guess it lasted for a week. I was in this state of complete merging with who I truly am, and all the knowledge of the universe was available to me. And that's how meta spirituality was born. And all that material that I wrote down became the foundation for my one and only program on meta spirituality, which is called The Process, which people say that this is the most advanced spiritual program in the world they've ever come across. And it does bring enlightenment, it does bring awakening on the second day of the program, and you guys are welcome to try it out. It is truly something magical what happened then, back then in 2016, and what now happens with people who go through the process, because I think that knowledge was given to me from me to spread this knowledge, to spread this message. This is actually a state where we completely detach from our individual personality, and we realize that we have always been one with everything, and those borders, they are completely illusionary, and it's this complete merging with everything. In meta spirituality, the main kind of idea that we explain, we promote, is that this outside world is your continuation, not reflection, which is a common phrase, but I'd rather say continuation. who you know yourself to be is how it will be continued on the outside. Let me explain. The majority of people live in this state of not knowing that they are the creator, that they are this love, that they are one with everything and everyone. They can know that on their like mental level as an idea because they heard it so many times, but they didn't actually accept that truth. They didn't realize it fully. They didn't make this inner choice to be the creator that is one with everything, because this is a choice regardless of what we think. Enlightenment is always a choice. It doesn't come to those who are not ready, who didn't choose that. So when we are one with everything and we realize who we are, we realize that we can create, because we cannot influence people who we perceive being different from us. We cannot influence the world that we perceive is different from us. We cannot influence anything that is not us. All we can influence is us. So when in our perception we merge with everything and the whole universe is inside of us, only then can we influence everything that is within that universe. And that's the thing. But the majority of people, unfortunately, and this is changing rapidly now, which is amazing and great news, but the majority of people do not perceive themselves as that unity, as that wholeness, as the creator, one with everything and everyone around them. And because they don't perceive them as such, they also don't have this power to create, but they are still the creators. They cannot not be. This is what they are. So they create as the creator in this oblivious state of not knowing who he is. And that's why they create unconsciously, and they create chaos. And that's the reason why we have so many problems, conflicts, wars, obstacles. All this chaos on the outside is the continuation of that chaos that we have inside, only because we don't know who we are. So basically there are two states we can be in: the state of remembering and knowing who we are, and not remembering, not knowing who we are. But we are still the creators, so we will create, but we will create unconsciously, and we will create problems. So what meta spirituality does, and what the purpose of and mission of meta spirituality is, actually, I say that the meta spirituality's mission and my mission is to make the civilization enlightened by like 2050. As ambitious as it sounds, as naive as it sounds for many of you guys, but I believe that's possible. And if you look back on 10 years ago, we were at completely different, consciousness level, and 20 years ago. And every 20 years, we as civilization, we grow so much. And now that this knowledge of meta spirituality has resurfaced, and enlightenment is now available to everyone quickly, without any help of any spiritual intermediaries like ayahuasca, like hours and hours and decades in meditation. It's available directly. It is only now has become available because it wasn't available before. We were not ready for that direct enlightenment. And I think everything will change very rapidly, and I'm happy to be of service for this mission in particular.
That's incredible. And would you say that your program, the process, the point of this is to empower someone to become enlightened, so they no longer have to continue being subscribed to you? They would only use positive word of mouth to share with their friends. This worked for me. Maybe this could work for you, because I think a lot of us could agree that a lot of how I refer to them as spiritual gangsters find some way to keep you addicted or subscribed, continue paying, without necessarily truly empowering you to feel that you are the creator, right?
Yeah, because they don't know that themselves, unfortunately, and they might truly believe in what they're doing. They might truly think that whatever practices they prescribe is helping in some way, and that's our common tragedy. We are like in this collective hypnosis. We believe in the power of intermediaries because that's all we've known. That's the only tool we've known that can help us progress, and that has been the case, but not anymore. Or I would rather say there's something beyond that where we all should go. So yeah, definitely my main message is that I even start the process with these words. It's in the very first lecture of the process where I say, please don't make this mistake perceiving me as another teacher, perceiving meta spirituality as another teaching, even though we call it this way just for the lack of a better word. But I let people realize that the words they're hearing from me in the very beginning of our process, it's the reflection of their own readiness, it's the reflection of what they want to tell themselves, because I am their creation. I am the continuation on the outside of what they are ready for inside. And there's no guru here, there's nobody to I don't know, pray, and there's nobody to worship except for the truth, which is you are the creator, just like everyone else. We all have one shared highest self, which is who we truly are, which is the creator, which is love. They're all synonyms, which is the universe, the universal consciousness, whatever you choose to call it. And this one soul that we have, there are no individual souls. There's only one soul that we all share. And then we have all these multiple bodies and this illusion of separateness from each other, which is created by our mind, which is a buffer between, again, who we are and who we truly are. And people also make this mistake saying that mind creates reality. This is not true. Mind doesn't create reality. Mind is something that sustains the illusion of separation, something that is built in order to give us individuality so we can function in this physical realm and have this perception of ourselves as separate from the source that we are, from other people that we all are one with, from the outer world, external world that we also have no borders with. So mind does not create reality. Mind only sustains the illusion of separation. So our goal, and this is what we do in meta spirituality, we do not work with the mind. Even though I'm a former psychologist, I graduated in psychology, I worked for a couple of years as a psychologist. So, but still I am this person who says that we will not work with the mind. It's not efficient, it's not effective. We've all tried that, and look at the world. It doesn't really get us anywhere. So our goal in meta spirituality, and that's what the process does, it kind of disregards the mind. It brings you above the mind. That's the word meta, beyond, means beyond in Greek, beyond everything, beyond what you've known yourself to be, beyond the spirituality you've kind of known yourself to follow. We go beyond the mind and we transcend it, and we still have the mind. We never get rid of our ego unless we want to become a vegetable, unable to talk, communicate, eat, function, have any bodily functions. So look, when this knowledge came to me in 2016, all that knowledge, when it came to me, I was in shock because it contradicted everything I've been taught, everything I read on spiritual matters, everything everyone around was telling me, and everybody. The mind does not create reality. There's no need to get rid of our ego. It's not needed at all. We need our ego. We need our mind. It helps our body survive and it's useful. But we need to know the truth. We need to become something more than just the ego mind, and we need to kind of encompass the mind, and we can become whole then. So we can become what we truly are, much bigger than the mind that we still use, that is still there. It might still have all those programming, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. But because we now see the world through the eyes of our true identity, And that's actually the core difference between meta spirituality teaching and other teachings, is that their main goal and mission, the first goal and mission, is to change your identity so that you realize yourself as the creator and you start looking at the world through the eyes of this new identity. And then you still have your mind, you still have your ego, you still have those programs in your mind and all those perceived illusionary traumas and whatever, those experiences that you created for yourself because you didn't know any other way to grow and extract wisdom, you know. So you were creating and self-prescribing those tough life lessons and scenarios in order to get piece by piece that knowledge of who you truly are that we provide you in meta spirituality. So there's no need for any tough lessons anymore, and there's no need to perceive all those past scenarios as a trauma you need to work on for years, and you need to go back into your past and rearrange it and work on it. There's no need. We don't deal with our mind whatsoever. We just absolutely just go beyond, and we don't care what happens in our mind and what thoughts we have. It does not matter. If your identity has been changed, if you were reborn as your new self and you see everything through these new eyes of your new identity, you have this new self-identification. It doesn't matter what the contents of your mind is. It basically doesn't matter. You will still function and go through this life in a very different manner, and you will see all your programming in your mind and all your perceived traumas and all other illusions, but you will see the truth behind those illusions. You will kind of penetrate through with your vision, and you will be guided by the truth of who you are rather than all those mirages and illusions that you perceived because you identified yourself with your mind only, and you didn't know that you are so much bigger than that. Mm-hmm. And that's what we teach, to change the self-identity. And this change in self-identity is enlightenment, because true enlightenment is not this romantic state where you're forever in this bliss state and you're always smiling and people think you'll never have any like ego anymore, never have your mind anymore. No, enlightenment is truly this knowledge of who you are and this bigger eyes that you suddenly have, and you see everything differently. And because you see and perceive the world differently, you perceive yourself differently, others differently, the world differently, through the eyes of unity and love and this biggest self. You create it differently, because the way we perceive anything as the creator is the way we create it. So that's the trick. There's no need for any practices. There's no need to get rid of your ego. There's no need to work on your mind programming, on your traumas. You just need to make this huge shift in your self-identification.
Okay. So in this, making this shift, how do you also feel one with all of the people who have taught you religion throughout your years, all the people who have you've engaged in spiritual practices and or follow this guru, this philosopher? You know, how do you also feel one with them and not separate yourself, feeling like, well, they're religious and I'm not, or vice versa?
Yeah, no. Knowing the truth, you know for sure deep in every cell of yours that this is illusion, to separate yourself from others. And it doesn't mean that your personalities are the same. Let's not make this mistake here. So there are different personalities. We are different in our like individual makeup, but we are one in truth. We are one. We have one shared soul. We have one higher self. And of course, when I, knowing who I am, see, for example, people who come to me and say, this is all bullshit. No, that's not true. Jesus is the way. There's just one Christ, or something like that, whatever their beliefs are. So according to meta spirituality, according to the knowledge, according to this truth, when we stumble upon something in our so-called external reality that kind of contradicts what we believe in, that contradicts the what we perceive as the truth now, it only means that I, in this very moment, have some like blind spot, and I kind of doubt the truth in this moment. I fall down this scale of remembering who I am, because it's a live thing. It's not stagnant, constantly like 24/7. I'm in crystal clear, sharp remembrance of who I am. No, we navigate this balance between who we truly are and our personality daily, and we are the bridge between the two. We are something that is between them. We are the relationship between the two. So this relationship is alive, and it could be, you know, let's kind of symbolically perceive it like on the top level of that scale. It can go down a little bit. For example, if your physical body is super tired, you didn't sleep for a week, you just traveled a bunch, you are more identifying with your body in those days because your physical body is craving more attention in order to survive. So inevitably your this perception of who you are shifts back closer to your physical self, individual self, in order to protect the self. So for example, if I didn't sleep well for like 3 days, or I'm super hungry, I didn't eat well for the last couple of days, I will start kind of quote unquote forgetting who I am, like online, and this will have its effect, and I will find myself in a different energy state. I will find myself in a different perception state, and I will find myself surrounded with so-called creations of mine or continuations of me as the creator who are like chaotic, because I am shifting down into this more chaotic kind of state of not remembering who I am. So in those days, I will experience some, I don't know, negative comments on Instagram. Oh, this is all crap. This is not true. You know, because this is in me, because this is me. And external world only shows us this state we are in, whether we are remembering who we are and we're in this state of knowing or not. In those days when I'm super clear and my physical body is feeling great and I remember who I am, there's zero negativity in my life in any aspect of it. Not in relationships, not in my work. There's no negative comments. Everybody's perceiving me perfectly well, and you know, with joy and gratitude. So there's no issues. I do not create any obstacles as the creator when I am perfectly clear. And you know, it's actually a good thing for our listeners to maybe remember and kind of take note on, because many people always say, oh, I have this dream, or I have this mission, I have this vision, and nobody supports me. Like, my loved ones don't support me, they don't really, you know, support me at all, and just like other people, they don't get me, they don't support me. What that means, if we look through the eyes of the truth, through the eyes of meta spirituality, it means that we ourselves deep inside have doubts in our mission, in our message. When we have doubts, we will externally seek for validation of what we are trying to spread, right? The message we're trying to spread. When we have doubts, we need that validation. When we have doubts, we need the support. And we will never get it, because the world and other people, they are just our kind of continuation, and they will be kind of in opposition to our message, or they will not support us. And that's only a sign for us from ourselves, not from some separate universe, but from ourselves, that we need to kind of make our own internal world kind of stronger, our vision stronger, our motivation stronger, kind of get rid of all that things that cloud our own mission, motivation, perception. Maybe just today, because maybe you just, I don't know, didn't have a good sleep. Mm-hmm. Everything on the outside is simply a continuation of what we are inside.
Okay. So what how would someone be able to discern the difference between this is my personality versus this is something false I believe about myself, or this is karma that I'm holding on to? Um, there's different uh, different ways, I guess, people take karma. What that means could be something from past lives that they did wrong, and so they need to like absolve their sins or something like that in this current lifetime, so they're able to transcend and become closer to enlightenment. There's another concept, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar says that karma is a thought that you hold on to as your identity. And when you hold on to this and you believe this is your identity, that is your karma. And yet, how would someone be able to discern if something is truly their personality and something that they can use uh, to be more one or feel more one, remember who they are, versus, this is a part of my identity that I'm attaching to that is not necessarily true? How are you able to discern that?
Yeah, so there's so many aspects to your question. There's no karma, and I know, don't throw rotten eggs into me immediately, give me a chance to explain. So there's no karma because there's no past lives, because there's only here and now, this everlasting moment. And this illusion of time that we perceive here is only needed for our physical experience here in this life, in this material world, in order to separate our experiences. This is all the knowledge that came to me during that week, and I truly felt, realized, and there's no more doubts about that, there's no past, there's no future. It is all happening right now, and it's impossible to understand with our mind, logical mind, but it's absolutely clear and obvious when you connect with your true self. So there's no past life, there's no karma. The creator creates this life only in here and now, again and again and again and again and again. It's like time is not linear, time is like a dot, and from that dot everything springs and goes back into every moment of this being. So what people perceive as karma is, again, it's just a symptom of their attachment to their false identity of someone who doesn't know that they are the creator, that they always have this choice, that they're always in this fresh new moment of here and now, that there is no past and there's no past lives, there's nothing that is, I don't know, influencing them from the past. When you know yourself as who you are free from all of that. When you don't know yourself as who you truly are, you will be influenced by your past, your upbringing, your parents, other people, the phase of the moon, and everything else in between. So you will just not be the creator, the source of it all, right? You will be living in this victim mentality, influenced by everything and everyone, because you don't have yourself. You don't have this starting point. You have not created yourself as the conscious creator for who you truly are. But in truth, there is no karma and there's no past life. All there is that you don't know who you are in this particular moment of being. That's all it is. Once you fix that one thing, you are completely free. Every moment you are reborn anew. And if every moment when you're reborn anew, you remember who you truly are, then you also remember you always have the choice, and you always choose what to create, what experience to live, what experience to go through. And you understand that your past and your all of these, it was just the illusion that you were attaching yourself to because you didn't realize that this is who you are, that you are free every moment. Yeah.
Do you recommend at all someone have a mantra to quickly get back to that remembrance? Do you have any tool that you recommend?
No.
Or that is also an intermediary you feel?
Exactly. And you don't need any. So once you activate this remembrance of who you are that lives, let's say, in your heart, for lack of a better word, it actually, this memory of who you truly are lives and encoded in every cell of your body. It's in your DNA. We say that it's in your heart just to make the separation between your mind, which sustains the illusion of separation, and your heart. But of course, it's not in your heart only, right? It's everywhere. It's in you. It's who you are. You don't remember it because your mind doesn't allow you to remember it. This is what the purpose of the mind is, to have you forget so you can engage yourself fully with this experience. But what was needed again in the beginning, so we as this one universal soul, shared soul, could multiply ourselves and multiply thus our experiences and have more experiences. That's why we need so many different bodies. We as one self need so many different bodies in order to expand, like this ever expanding universe, right? This is what we are. So we multiplied ourselves, and we needed to forget initially when we created this life, right? We as the creator created this life. We needed to forget, because if we immediately remember who we are, we wouldn't be able to even engage and kind of descend ourselves, so-called descend into these bodies. We needed to forget for an instant in order to create life. And this is what life is. Life is this division, right? It's division and multiplying, like multiplying cells. This is literally what life is. One cell divided into two, and then three and four, and here we are. So division is only possible with the help of this mind that is in essence what individuality is, what division is, and it sustains this division so that the life can go on and continue. But the next choice that we needed to make is to remember again when we are already in our physical bodies, and we didn't make this choice. We are just starting to make it. We are just starting to remember who we are. So that's the goal of humanity, to realize that we are God in these physical bodies, and we need to be both these bodies and God and the creator. And we should not succumb to those old spirituality ideas like, oh, physical body is not important. All the goal of spirituality is to ascend to some higher realms, and this physical body is not something we worship. No, it's the opposite. We are the combination of two, and we need to be here in these physical bodies while remembering that we are God, that we are the creator. And that's a completely new state of being that we haven't experienced yet. And that's what I believe and know, what came to me is our new mission, our new state of being that we all will be living in soon. And that's my goal, to make it happen quicker.
Amazing. I have a question here from one of my girlfriends was asking, how could your program help someone who has a friend who had committed suicide, and how does that, if we don't have karma, what would you say to her?
It is our unconscious choice, because we don't know who we are. We suffer, really we suffer from all the chaos that I explained happens when we don't know who we are. Because when we do know who we are, we want to live. regardless of anything, and we are full of energy, and we are love, and we are one with everything, and there would be no reason for us to end this. This is literally what we're here for, to live, to live. So, but when we are not in touch with our true self, life becomes overwhelming, and we make those choices, but these are still our choices, and this is what it is. But to answer your friend's question, will this course help some friend of hers? So here's the thing, I never ask anyone to kind of invite their like friends, or kind of ask their friends, hey, you should do this, because you need to be ready for this remembrance. You need to be ready for this course. So if you, as a friend, are here now listening to this and you feel resonance, then you're very welcome to go through the process, and it will change you, it will change your life, it will change all the people around you because of who you've become. And this is your way of helping them by being who you truly are. That's my take on that. And I would not necessarily tell my loved ones, hey, you need to try this because you have this problem. People need to discover, they need to come to this knowledge, they need to choose to get acquainted with this knowledge on their own. And that's kind of important. Otherwise, it will not do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever is listening to this live, whoever is coming across the process, then you just know that this is for you personally, because you've created this opportunity for yourself. And think about yourself, regardless of how egotistical that may sound, but you coming to this full potential of who you actually are, and you embodying the truth and starting living this truth is your help to your loved ones, to your friends, to the world. This is what you do.
Okay. I have a friend, Divya, who has a question. Could someone who is born in, let's say, a different environment, and I think I know where she's going with this, in circumstances where maybe they don't feel so empowered that they can create their own reality based on living circumstances and such, what would you say to them?
Yeah. Is it the person who is asking? Is it his environment or her environment? Is she talking about herself again? Because as I just explained.
Divya, if you can hear me, are you talking about yourself or just in general? Let me see if she responds.
Yeah, because it's an important difference here.
Mm-hmm.
In general, we can hypothesize many things, but it's not relevant.
Okay.
Yeah.
She said in general. So someone who is born in America versus in India, or let's just take that for example.
Yeah. All I can say is that this truth is for everyone. Doesn't matter where we're born, doesn't matter what our race is, doesn't matter anything, because this is the truth of who we are as human beings, right? This is our true nature, regardless of our nationality or age or anything, or the environment we live in or we're born in. It does not matter. But whether you will choose to remember that truth and create that experience for yourself in your life, it is up to you. Basically, it's a combination of the environment and your internal light, how bright it is, how much you actually feel that call from your heart, from your true self, that asks you to be discovered. Some people who are born in a terrible environment, they become extremely successful, happy, famous people. Some people who are born in a great environment become, I don't know, become nothing, right? So it is not, we are not victims of anything. Let's end it with this phrase. We are not victims, but it should be our own choice as the creator to to become conscious creators, to become those who are capable of changing our external reality and our circumstances, regardless of where we were born. I was born in a tiny city in Russia, and I never had a father. I was born not in a full family. I only had one mom. We were living together. We had very little money, and it didn't do anything. I loved that city. I loved that country. I learned a new language, even though it's not perfect, as you can all hear. But it wasn't something that stopped me to discover my purpose, to have big influence, to have thousands and thousands of students all over the world. So we are not, you know, victims of our family, of our environment, of our city. It is all up to you.
Amazing. And what is your take on plant medicine? As you know,
Yeah.
scientific advances have come forward.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, when research says this and that, what would you say to that?
I would say, first of all, I can speak from experience because I've never tried. Again, all my life I was already so not in my body that my goal was to kind of ground myself in this body first. I was meditating since 11. I had all those experiences and out-of-body experiences and glimpses of enlightenment, glimpses only. But I never get a chance to actually experience any plant medicine. And I experienced awakening in a different way. But from my experience as a teacher, because there's thousands of people who come through me yearly and they tell me their stories, and they come to me after those ceremonies. So here's my take on that. It is still an intermediary. It is still something that you kind of taste. You taste the unity, you taste the truth with the help of those intermediaries. But what is not great is that you get this glimpse and you don't know what to do with it. You're not taught how to live as the creator, how to live in this unity, how to sustain it, how to maintain it. It is just still something that happened to you with the help of some medicine, and so you perceive it. It is still not your full merging with who you truly are. It is still. So people after plant medicine, they come to me and they say that, thank you, because now we know what to do with that, what we experienced during that plant medicine ceremony. Now we know actually what to do with it, because before we experienced it, we kind of were shocked by it. It was a lot of, I don't know, it was very impactful. We had a lot of insights, but then that's it. It didn't change anything in our life. It was like a memorable experience that is still there in our memory, separate from who we are in our daily life, in our daily routine, and it's just a memorable internal firework that we remember happened to us, but it doesn't merge and it doesn't affect our daily life much. Maybe in the first few days after the ceremony, I have no idea, or maybe in the first few weeks, but your core identity is not fully transformed, and you are living as your old self who had the experience, rather than your new self who is that now. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not against that. I'm not against any spiritual intermediaries. I'm just saying that there is this next step. If you feel that you are ready for it, then give it a try. Or you can keep playing with spiritual tools and toys and all things in between, because it might still give you some value, might still give you some benefit. If it still keeps giving you benefits, please do it and enjoy it, and it's great. Meta spirituality is for those who've already tried a lot of things and they still realize that they're missing something. And I have a VIP client in my private mentorship who has participated in 300 ayahuasca ceremonies. 300. Can you imagine that? And she was teaching that too. She was partnering with some shaman and she was doing those ceremonies. And she came to me eventually. For some people, it will take 300 ceremonies. For some people, it will take one ceremony, but eventually all of us will come to meta spirituality. And I know that sounds very bold, but because it's not about the name of meta spirituality, it's about the truth of who we are. And we, as the creator, want to experience this knowledge directly. And we will come to this phase, we're already coming into this phase when we are done with any middleman and we want to know the truth directly and we want to create directly. We want to establish this direct relationship with the creator and the source that we are without any middleman. That's all it is.
Okay.
I don't know if Jennifer, if your Instagram live can last longer than an hour. It's just been an hour. I'm curious because before my would always stop in 1 hour, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's not the case now. Maybe it's different.
I'm honestly not sure, but I just assumed that we would wrap it at an hour unless you have it.
Yeah. No, I'm totally done. I said all I wanted, unless we can answer one or two more questions and that's
Sure.
it, if there are any. Otherwise,
yes.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Are there any questions that anyone would like to drop into the comments for Nina?
Yeah, I will just say that, guys, if you feel any resonance, please check out my Instagram page. It's nina.verkoeyen. Jennifer will tag me under this video. I think it will stay on your feed, right, for a few days. So you can just tag me under this video. I think it will be saved automatically too. Instagram now saves all these lives automatically. So you can just post it on your feed so people can still watch it, rewatch it if they want. And Jennifer will tag my name, my account, so you can come and you can send me a direct message and I can send you some free material if you want to know more on meta spirituality.
Sure. Yes, I have a few friends who are interested to learn some more.
Yeah, just shoot me a direct message, guys, and I will send you some free stuff so you can. I have a beautiful masterclass on my website, metaspirituality.org. I have this free 1 hour long masterclass, which is called, I don't know what's it called, I don't remember. I think it's an introduction to metaspirituality, where we eliminate the 3 biggest spiritual misconceptions, and this will be a good start for everybody who is interested in feeling resonance with this conversation.
Beautiful. Well, Nina, it was an absolute pleasure having you. This has been really fascinating. I love hearing your perspective. I love seeing a woman just absolutely taking charge and stepping into that leadership role when it comes to when it comes to spirituality. And I think I think everything that you touched upon is very accessible, that it makes sense. It's not so esoteric. It's not so out there. It really feels very tangible, and it feels almost to a degree too simple to be true. That's how it resonates with me. But if I get some more questions from some of my followers and friends, I will be sure to send those out to you. And then I look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you for hosting this beautiful conversation. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Just send me a direct message. I'll send you a free masterclass. And yeah, have a great day, everyone. Bye.
You as well.
Bye.